Two aircraft carrier strike groups are converging on Iran as I record this. The USS Abraham Lincoln, the USS Gerald R. Ford. It's the same carrier group that just captured Venezuela's president. There are B-2 bombers on standby. 50 fighter jets arrived in the region in the last 48 hours alone. No new wars has become 2 military operations in 13 months. And if you're feeling like something is off, like the promises don't match the actions, like the expectations keep changing, like nobody in power is being straight with you, you're not crazy. You're paying attention. And that's why I built Brave the New World. I'm Matt Carano. I've spent years in and around media. I've watched how narratives get built, how stories get framed, how the things you're not told matter more than the things you are. And I've also watched the liberty movement get played over and over and over again. I'll be honest with you. I never voted for Trump, but I did see him as the lesser evil. Not because I thought he was a libertarian. I'm not naive, but because the stated goals aligned with what I wanted. End the forever wars, drain the swamp, expose the Epstein client list, shrink the bureaucratic state. And I thought maybe, just maybe, the incentives would push him in the right direction. But here's what actually happened. Doge promised $2 trillion in cuts, but the national debt grew by $2.2 trillion instead. Elon waved a chainsaw at CPAC and then left the administration in May. The Epstein files, called a Democrat hoax. The one congressman who forced transparency, Thomas Massie, is being targeted. Adelson and Trump have spent millions trying to unseat him. What about the DOJ? Not dismantled, redirected. It's now weaponized against new targets. The state didn't shrink, it got bigger. So did the swamp. The immigration enforcement apparatus alone got $170 billion, the largest allocation in history. And here's the part that should terrify anyone who cheered this on. Every tool of power you build will be wielded by your enemies. Democrats will likely take Congress in the midterms, maybe the White House in 2028. And the surveillance infrastructure, the enforcement machine, the precedents for executive action without congressional approval, all of it will be in their hands. Political reform cannot save us. The incentives don't allow it. Even the most anti-establishment president in modern history, Trump, made the state bigger. Something else has to work. And I believe that something is technology, not revolution, not accelerationism, not doom. Technology making the state obsolete through competition. And in case you didn't know, making the state obsolete is not only my life's mission, but a moral imperative. Why? Because the state is no different than the mafia or the dominant gang in your neighborhood. It claims a monopoly on force over a geographic area. It demands payment. And if you don't pay, men with guns show up. If you resist, they cage you. If you resist harder, they kill you. The only difference between the state and the mob is better branding and a flag. Now, I'm not saying burn it all down tomorrow. I'm a gradualist, but the direction has to be towards freedom, towards voluntary interaction, towards a world where you can't be forced into systems that don't serve you. And for the first time in history, we have the tools to build this world. We have sovereign AI, models we can run ourselves. No corporate or government middlemen deciding what you can ask or what you can do. We have sovereign money like Bitcoin and Zcash and other crypto, financial rails outside the Fed's control. We have sovereign identity, controlling your own data, your own credentials, your own ability to exit systems that don't serve you. The state holds power through monopolies, money, force, identity, information. Break those monopolies, not by attacking them directly, but by building alternatives that outcompete them, and the state becomes optional. That's not utopian. It's already happening. The trajectory is clear if we build fast enough. Brave the New World exists to help you see clearly in an environment designed to keep you confused. We use a simple framework. Who benefits? It's always the key question. Follow the money and the power. Are there moving goalposts? When the justification keeps changing, they don't have a real one. Venezuela, for example, went from fentanyl to cocaine to Cartel de las Solas to Tren de Aragua to machine gun charges. 4 reasons. Each one collapsed under scrutiny. The operation, though, it happened anyway. Next, is there a historical pattern? What past events followed the same playbook? Recognize the manipulation before it finishes playing out. That last part, the historical pattern, is why I brought on an expert. My co-host on the Brave the New World podcast is CJ Killmer. He's the host of the Dangerous History podcast. He's a former history professor, one of the sharpest minds I know on how power actually operates across centuries. CJ brings the historical depth, the patterns that repeat, the playbook that gets recycled, the context that makes you say, oh, they've done this before, because they have every single time. That show drops weekly. We take the most important stories, we run them through the framework together and give you something you can actually use, not just to understand what's happening, but to see what's coming. Look, you don't need to be a libertarian to be here. You don't need to have read Rothbard or Mises. You don't need to agree with everything we publish or everything I say. You just need to be curious, willing to question, unwilling to be managed. We follow principle over tribe. I criticize excessive force during COVID lockdowns and January 6 prosecutions, and I'll criticize it just as hard during ICE operations. Consistency is the whole point. The war machine wants Iran. The surveillance state wants your data. The political system wants your compliance. We want your attention. In exchange, we'll help you see the pattern, know the playbook, and take action. The carriers are moving. The AI is scaling. The window is closing. So let's build.
You wear the flag on your dress like a cataract. The dual colors see the truth and